Good morning, eighth graders. Welcome to our technology class, week 32. So a couple of things. Number one, I'm losing my voice, so I sound a little bit raspy. Number two, last week, everybody got a free 100 because I basically did your homework for you. So I sent a spreadsheet that had everybody's name on it and it had usernames and passwords. And so that is going to be your username and password to get into the CS First account. So you'll go to the website in the email that I sent to you. And then when you type in your username and password, you should be able to get in to the eighth grade class. And so right now I have everybody in here. I have 17 students. And that's because pretty much I made all of the accounts for you guys. So everybody's name is in here, usernames are here. And then some of you had emailed and said, well, how do you know when I do something? How do you know when I finish it? So everything is done through the account. So when you go into the account and you actually start doing what we're doing, like for example, today we're going to be going through lesson number 1, gaming story. All of your code will get saved. And so then that means that I'll be able to go in and take a look at it and make sure that you did what you were supposed to do. So you do need to make sure that you go to the spreadsheet that I sent and sign in with your username and password every time you're going in to do your assignment every week. And then it'll show up that you did it. So where was that page now? Let me show you guys. So when I go back in here and I go to people, for example, I could see Chloe, she did start clicking into the first one. She didn't start anything yet, but it looks like she clicked into it. Looks like John clicked in and he got up to watching the video, what is computer science. So I'll be able to see, and then when I click on here, I can see, oh, did they share any projects yet? Did they finish any projects? Because it'll say projects. Oh, it looks like Chloe started some projects. Interesting. Okay, so you can manage all of your projects in there. And then that way I can go in and I can see and make sure I give you credit. Looks like John got into the gaming story. And so that is a good way. It's really a nice way. Everything is managed through the same account. So make sure you know your username and password. If you don't, obviously come and see me. So then that way I can get it for you. All right, so let's start with what we're doing today. So we're doing the gaming story. So I'm going to be going through the activity with you here just to show you what you need to do. So the first part is a survey. You do not need to do it, so you could just skip it. And then the second thing was what is computer science? We watched that video last week, so we're not going to watch it again. So now we're on 3, choose a character. Well, actually, you know what? Let me go back. So you do need to go into here because links, it says activity starter project. So you do need to get in there and open it up. And you do need to name it. So I'll show you how to do that. Up here where it says untitled, just put your name like Erica. And then I could put lesson number 1, gaming story. And so then that way, when I go in to check in your projects, this will be what gets saved. And so you can easily start working on it. So I'm going to work on it through here. And then there's a way you could do save now. There's a way that you can do save to your computer, but we're just going to save it into your account. Okay. So let's go now back and let's move to the next thing. So you can go to next. And now we're on choose a character. So remember, they do have videos that show you how to do everything. So they're very short, but I'll still put them on.
In today's activity, you will use computer science to tell a story that answers one of these questions or prompts. What game character is most like you and why? What do you like about your favorite game or app? And do you think kids should play more or fewer video games? Why? Think about the 3 prompts and choose one to use for your project. Do you have the same color hair or personality as a video game character? What do you want others to know about your favorite game or game character? Choose a question that inspires you. Your Scratch Starter project contains a sprite named Android. This is the character that will tell your story. To choose the appearance of your android, click on the Android sprite, click the Costumes tab, and click to choose a costume from the list. Now it's your turn. Choose a story prompt. Click on the Android sprite and choose an appearance for your sprite. Once you've done this, click the CS First tab, then the arrow under this video to move on to the next video.
Okay, so you have to choose a prompt. So you can come up with a question that you want to answer. What game character is most like you? Why is your favorite game or app the best? Do you think kids should play more or fewer video games? Whatever. It's just a fun little introduction. So the first thing we're gonna do is go in, click here at the bottom, Android. Then we can click on, oops, get rid of that. Click on costumes. And there are a few different choices that you can choose. So take a look through the list here. See one that you like. There's even ways to customize these, but we're just starting pretty basic. So a sprite is a character. So these are all the sprites that are stored in the sprite library. So something to mention is when a real video game is being designed, there's artists, and artists, they create all of the art. And then the art is then uploaded into a library where everything is stored. And each piece of art can then be programmed to do different things, which is what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to choose one of the characters, and then I'm going to start working through it. So let's just choose this one. Okay, so now that we chose one, we're good. So now we can go back to our code. And now we're going to go to next here at the bottom, and it's going to show you how to add in. And remember, the instructions will always tell you exactly what you need to do, and the video will always show you how to do it. So let's watch how to add this in.
In this video, you will learn how to make the sprite talk about the prompt you selected. To make the Android talk or move, add code to the scripts editor for the Android sprite. Click on the Android in the Looks menu. Drag out a Save for 2 seconds block. Click the block to test it. Awesome! The Android says hello. Click inside the white space in the Save for 2 seconds block. The text hello automatically highlights. Think about the story prompt you chose and type in a sentence that starts to answer that question. This example starts with, the game character most like me is Yoshi. Your sentence might start with, my favorite game is, or I think kids should play fewer video games because. Write a sentence that makes sense for the prompt you selected. Drag out another Save for 2 seconds block and move it under the first block until it snaps into place. Change the text in the second block to the next sentence for your story. Click the entire stack of blocks to try it out in your program. Great! The Android says the text in the first block, then says the text in the second block. Computer scientists like you test their code often as they build it, so they can find and fix unexpected behaviors as soon as possible. Try your code often as you build. Add more save blocks to the stack to tell your full story. When you have a story you like, make it easy for users of your program to start your story when they click the flag. Click the Events menu and drag a When Flag Clicked block to the top of the stack. Now, the user can start your program by clicking the green flag at the top of your project. Try it out. Great! The story begins when the flag is clicked. Explore the other blocks in Scratch to add more to your story. Use motion blocks like glide and move to make your Android take action. Try sound blocks and forever loops to create a music track for your program. You can always click on a block to try it out before you use it in your program, so don't be afraid to explore and use your imagination.
So that you can see they added in, and they even added a little bit of motion too.
Now it's your turn. Add at least 3 say blocks that respond to the prompt you selected. Add text to the blocks to tell your own story. Add a When Flag Clicked block to the top of the stack to make it easy to start your program.
Okay, so let's go now back in here. So they want you to do, and it tells you over here, at least 3 say blocks. So remember, you have to go into looks. You can pull out 3 of them, connect them together, and then think about the story that you want to tell. So for example, hi, my favorite video game is Ring Fit. And then maybe she could say, I love to work out. So this game makes it really fun for me. Right now I am on level 100. Woohoo. So I'm just making up a short little gaming story. So each of the blocks is going to say whatever you write in it for 2 seconds. And then you always have to add an event block. So the when green flags clicked, what that will do, if you watch right here, is it will start your sequence of words that you wanted your sprite to say. So of course, 3 is the minimum for this assignment, but you can be so creative and add in more. And if you remember, even here, they added in some movement. So of course, you can always take it one step further and be more creative, but I'm just showing you the basic code here. So this code would allow your sprite to say 3 lines of text, right? So that is very, very helpful. Okay, I made it a little bit bigger. There's a like a plus magnify glass, if just so you guys could see it a little bit better. And then when you run it, you can always make this bigger if you just want to test it out and see what it would really look like. So this is super basic. Again, if you've been here for a lot of years, you know that we've worked with code a lot in the past, so you should be pretty familiar with it. Okay, so for your homework, what you guys are going to do is you'll have to sign in. You will have to go into the story, and then you'll have to add in the 3 lines of text and make up a gaming story. Now, I want to show you something else. There's something called add-ons. So let me let you watch this, and then you can try some of these as well.
Congratulations on coding today's project. Now you get the chance to customize your project with add-ons. Check out the add-ons you can choose from. In Flickr, program an interesting introduction to your project. And the vector characters, learn about vector graphics and edit or draw your own costume. And in adding sound, add video game sound effects or music to your project. Now it's your turn. You can complete the add-ons in any order and add as many of them to your project as you'd like. To start, choose an add-on and click the watch button.
Okay, so let me show you. So these are the add-ons. So they have Flickr, they have vector characters, bitmap characters, and then they have sound. So what you do is you click on here and it'll
Game
show
introductions often include a short animation, special effect, or other interesting features to get people excited about playing the game. In this add-on, you'll program a flickering background to introduce your project. You're creating an introduction, so the transition sprite should show when the project starts. Drag out a when flag clicked block from the events menu and add a show block from the looks menu. Click the flag to test. Great, the transition sprite shows. Next, create the flicker effect by switching quickly between 2 costumes. Drag out a switch costume to block. Select the costume name of the effect you want to show. Drag out another switch costume to block and select the second costume name. Click each of these blocks repeatedly to make the flickering effect. Rather than repeatedly clicking between these blocks, you can program the computer to repeat this code for you. Select the control menu and drag out a repeat 10 block. Place the switch costume blocks inside it. If you run this code now, nothing happens. The computer runs the code so fast you can't see the sprite change costumes. To fix this, add a wait block after each switch costume block. Click the flag to test. To speed up or slow down the flickering effect, change the values in the wait blocks. Next, make the flicker effect fade out. Drag out a change effect by block. To fade the sprite, select Ghost in the drop-down. Click the block to run it. The sprite becomes slightly more transparent. To keep fading the transition until the transition sprite disappears entirely, add a repeat 10 block, then attach this code to your block stack. Click the flag to try it out. Cool! Now the introduction fades into the project. You can change the speed of the fade by tinkering with the values and the repeat and change effect blocks. If the sprite doesn't completely fade out, add a hide block at the end of your block stack. Next, program the rest of your code to start running after the effect fades out. For each when flag clicked block in your program, add a wait block with the amount of time your introduction takes. Try different values in the wait block until your story starts at the right time. Now it's your turn. Start an effect to introduce your game with when flag clicked and show blocks. Create a flickering effect using repeat and switch costume blocks. Make the flicker effect fade out using repeat and change ghost effect blocks. Start your story after the introduction by adding wait blocks after each when flag clicked block.
Okay, so
Game
let's
introductions
go
often
in.
include
All
a
right.
short animation, special.
Sorry, hang on. It just went right into the other video. Let me go back.
Game
So
introductions often
this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a
change
look.
ghost effect.
We're gonna take a look in here and we're gonna see, I wanna show you there is a transition block here. So what you're doing is you can really just go back and forth. So you're getting a when flag clicked, and then you're adding a show block. When flag is clicked, and then you're getting a show block. So you have to get used to where all the blocks are. They're color coded, so that should help. And then you want to do the repeat block of switch between costume number 1 and number 3. So these have different costumes. So if you notice, like this is number 1 and this is number 3. So if you switch between these, you can also switch between number 1 and number 2. Or, sorry, now my the internet's freezing. Or number 5. Or number, look how many there are. There's a bunch of them. Or number 10. So I don't know, like you can be creative. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing here. You can do whatever you want. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. So I'm just gonna put one here. I think this was the one that they had. And then, oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so then you're gonna get your repeat block. So repeat 10 times, and you're gonna get the change costume block. So you want to change between, so you want to switch between costume number 12, and then you want to wait. So they just waited 0.1 seconds because they wanted it to flicker pretty quickly. So again, you may want to, like, it really is up to you what you want to do. So I'll just kind of copy it just so we could kind of try to follow what they did, but you can play around with it. So then let's get another switch costume, and let's switch to costume 2, and then go into control and do wait 1, and then you're going to repeat 10 times, changing the ghost effect by 10 because you want to make it the background fade out, right? So then that way, eventually, it'll just go right into your, so I'm going to show you, you have to change the timing on everything. So right now, make sure that your transition is highlighted in blue, because over here, whatever is highlighted in blue, this is the code for it. So if I click back into the Android, this is the code that's attached to the Android. If I click on the transition, this is the code that's attached to the transition. So sometimes it's easy to make a mistake and be like coding, and then you're like, oh no, I put that under the Android, and then it's not going to work. So you do want to make sure that you're coding the right thing. So we're gonna do the ghost effect, and we're gonna do it by 10. And then after that, we're gonna go back to looks, and we're going to get the hide block. And now what we have to do is we have to go into the Android and we have to add a wait block. Why are we doing this? Because when I press the green flag, which I'll show you right now. If I do it, it's not going to work. This is going to start at the same time as this. So watch. See? And it doesn't make any sense, right? So what I need to do is I need to have the Android wait probably, like they said, we have to guess. So maybe we'll guess 10 seconds, 20 seconds. We'll guess 20. We'll start with 20 seconds. So let's get a wait. When clicked, wait 20 seconds, and then say these three things. Now let's test it out and let's see what happens. So we have our little introduction, and then, oh, it looks like maybe 20 seconds was too long. Let's try 10 seconds. Wait 10 seconds. I remember they said you have to test it out. So let's say 10 seconds might even be too long. Let's try 5 seconds. It's almost there. We could probably time it a little bit better. Maybe 3 seconds. Okay, let's try 3 seconds. So we have our little intro, and then she comes on and starts talking. Now, what if you're like, I don't really like the transition backgrounds. I don't know. I'm going to switch between 12 and I'm going to switch it around. Let me see if I like this better. Nah. So you can play around with it. So then maybe I'm like, actually, I want to try 2. No, actually, I want to try 5. And then I keep kind of trying it out until I find something that I like. Oh, this one looks pretty cool. And then if I'm satisfied, then I can stop there. So now I can go and I can try a different add-on. I want to do the sound. So I'm going to click in. Let's see how to do
In this add-on, you'll add some cool video game sounds and background music to your project. Start by clicking on the Sounds tab. The Android sprite from the Starter project comes with a bunch of sounds. Select one, then click the play button to hear what it sounds like.
I love you.
Some sounds are short, so they are especially good for sound effects. Longer sounds make great background music. To add sound effects to your project, open the Sounds menu and drag out a Play Sound Until Done block. Click the drop-down menu in this block and choose the name of a sound to add. Click the block to test it out. Cool, the sound plays. Add this block to the main code stack in the spot where the sound should play in your program. This example places the block at the very beginning, right after the When Flag Clicked block. Click the flag to test it out. Great, the sound plays, then the Android starts talking. Add Play Sound Until Done blocks to the different places in your code where you like a sound effect to happen. To add background music that plays while the Android talks, drag out a Play Sound Until Done block and select a sound. Then, place a Forever block from the control menu around this block. Add a When Flag Clicked block on top. The 2 block stacks that start with the same When Flag Clicked event will run at the same time. Click the flag to test it out. Awesome! The project plays some sweet background music. Now it's your turn. Add sound effects to your project using a Play Sound Until Done block. Add background music using the Play Sound Until Done, Forever, and When Flag Clicked blocks.
Okay, so let's go now and try and add some sound. So again, go back into your Android because we're going to add the code to put some sound. Go to sound. You can drag a Play Sound block out. Now, if you click in here, you can test out different ones of what you like. There's a lot of different sounds that you can even customize sounds. So, for example, if I go into sounds, there's so many sounds
5, 4, 3.
that I can test out. There's so many different sounds. And again, I wanted to mention in real game design, they have real musicians that put together sound clips and songs and things. And again, they put them into a sound library. And then when the people are going in and they're programming everything, they can add the sounds in. So I can think about what sound I want to add. So now I'm going to go back into my code and think about What do I want to add? I can add a sound before every time that it says something. So now let's try it out. Ready? Kind of find that a little bit annoying. So maybe I'm like, yeah, actually, that's kind of annoying. And then I want to take it out. I can just take it out if I want. So again, you can play around. There's so many things you can do here. Maybe I'll just play it once. But maybe I want to play a sound. Actually, you know what I want to do? I'm going to add a when flag clicked. And I'm going to add a forever loop. And I'm going to play a sound forever when it starts. Now watch. Okay, so again, you can play around with this. You can add sound, and then you can add it to when your transition starts or when your sprite starts talking. For the sake of time, because I don't want to make this too long, there's vector characters where you can actually edit or draw your own costume. And then there's the pixel characters. So if you want to also play around with those, for this particular assignment, I'm just going to be looking to see that you choose at least one add-on. So you do not need to do all 4 of them. If you want to just do the sound, you can just add the sound. If you want to do the flicker, like we just did, if you just choose one. And then the thing that I'm looking for is, did you add the 3 text blocks? And did you add your sprite? So you're adding your sprite, adding at least 3 text blocks to tell a story. It has to tell a game story. And then you're choosing one add-on. So that could be the transition. It could be adding sound. Obviously, I don't want to give you too much coding work to do, and make you do all 4 of them. But then when you're done, you can go to next. There's a little reflection. You do not need to do that. If you go to next, it's just wrapping it up, a wrap-up video, and then that's it. So you will be done at that point. You will need to make sure you do file, save now, so that way your project is saved, and then it will be saved inside of your account. So you want to make sure that you save it so that way you could get credit for it, okay? So please make sure that you save your project, you rename it, and then that way when I go into your projects, I'll be able to take a look and say, oh, good, and I can check the code and everything and make sure that you did it. So that's going to be your first project. Very simple. We're starting very simple. They do get harder as the weeks go on. A lot more code, a lot more complex, because you're actually going to be making little mini games. But this is just a good introduction to just adding a sprite, which is a character, making your character talk and say some things, adding sound, changing and flickering your background. And so have fun with it, okay? All right, guys. So sorry, I hope this wasn't too long, but have fun and let me know if you have any questions. All right, bye, guys.